When I was younger, we lived in this wooden house. It wasn't huge, but it was fairly big. I was only young, but I remember finding this picture of my mom in a blue dress and often saw her wearing it around the house. It was long and silky, like a slim fit wedding dress. I had all sorts of names for her: Sky Mother, Mama Blue, and all sorts of weird nicknames. Then one day I couldn't find this picture and got really upset. So when I told my mother about how I lost the picture of her in the blue dress, she sat me down and asked what I was talking about. I explained it and described the dress. She didn't remember that dress, but I swore I would have seen her wearing it. That's when things got weird. Some of my friends at the time also saw this lady in blue when they visited, so I was confused but let it go. I didn't see her for years until we moved. When we moved, we downgraded in houses and settled into a standard terrace house on the other side of the city. A couple of days after we moved in, I sorted through the boxes in my room and found the picture. Only she had changed. It was once a solemn yet beautiful face was now angry and distorted. I paid it no mind and moved on. That's when bad things started happening. I'd come home from school and my room would be a mess, or I would hear laughing at night. Of course, I didn't know what being haunted was like, but it still was pretty scary. I started seeing more of her and more of her, just standing in doorways or washing up over the sink. My mom thought for years I was joking and made it a joke I had seen the corpse bride in real life, but they were not similar, almost at all. I became more and more afraid to sleep there, and every time I got the opportunity to sleep somewhere else, I took it. That didn't last long though. Soon enough, I saw her everywhere, and she slowly consumed my life. It got to the point where people thought I went crazy and was called Little Boy Blue by my bullies. Then one night as I cried myself to sleep, I heard footsteps, like the clacking of heels coming up the steps to my room. At the time, I shared a room with my brother, and he wouldn't wake up, which is weird because he was always been a light sleeper. You see, I started shaking him and trying to wake him up. I heard her getting closer and laughing, so I jumped up into my bed and hid under the sheets. It sounds cheesy that way, but it's what people did in films, and I was a kid, so I thought it would work. I heard my door handle twist and my door swing open. Then the laughing stopped. I stayed there a while before poking my head out from under my blanket. She was there, hanging over me. Her face was mangled, and she was just laughing at me. So I screamed, and suddenly she disappeared. My mom came to check on me, but didn't believe me, thinking it was a nightmare. I later became so sick of her ruining my life that I tore up the Lady in Blue's picture and threw it in a river a couple of years ago. Since then, I haven't seen her, and no one remembers the jokes they made about me seeing her. They were adamant I was lying about it, that they never knew about it. That's why I looked into my past houses. One of the women who lived in my house first lived there in the Victorian era and wore the same blue dress. When she lived there, many children in the city went missing, and it's believed she buried them in the cemetery. I couldn't help but wonder what would have happened if I didn't scream that night. And I wonder if anyone who went missing when I lost the picture the first time suffered the same fate as those she presumably killed.